This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hey everybody, how are you? David DeFranco here from daviddefranco.com. Yes, I'm back. Second video for today. Why not? Now, before I talk about today's announcements, yes, it is announcements whenever you watch this, regarding iOS 8, I do want to go over 2 bits of information that I think are very interesting. Number 1, they talked about at the WWDC 2014 keynote in California, they said 89% of users are already running iOS 7. 89%. That's just huge. That's a huge number. If that doesn't say success, then I don't know what does, especially when you compare it to this next tidbit of information. Now, I'm not looking to hate. I'm just simply reporting information because apparently I pissed someone off on Twitter. They unfollowed me. I don't care. I don't make this stuff up. And that is 9% of Android users are running KitKat. 9%. That's just pathetic. I actually feel bad for Android users. The fact that only 9% of you are running the newest version of the OS that you primarily prefer, that should make you mad. Seriously, you deserve better. Why are you putting up with that? 9% of market share in terms of KitKat? I don't get it. I don't understand why people put up with such fragmentation. And that's exactly why I appreciate Apple so much. They control the hardware, they control the software, and that's how it should be. Again, please, I'm not looking for hate. I'm just stating the obvious. It drives me nuts. Okay, so let's get into details. What did we learn about iOS 8? Here we go. First thing, let's talk about quick replies to text messages. Thank you. Finally, Apple. Thank you. I wanted this for so long because sometimes you receive a quick text message and you just want to say, okay, yes, no, be there soon, whatever. And now you can with apparently not even having to unlock your phone, so that's cool. But even better, this also applies to third-party apps like Facebook. So for example, if somebody posts a reply to my thread on Facebook, I can like that comment or comment on that comment. It's features like these that just make the user experience just a little more simpler, which is nice. Alright, moving on, let's talk about some basic apps like Safari. I don't really have much to say, but apparently, according to the keynote, it's going to appear to be more like Yosemite, at least in terms of the user interface and user experience. But I haven't used it myself. I'm just going by what I learned today. Let's talk about the Mail app on iOS. We can now hide mail messages temporarily to access other information behind that message. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm typing a long email to someone and I just remembered I need to copy and paste some text from a different email. So now I can swipe down that mail message and it kind of hides at the bottom with this nice horizontal, simple looking bar. And I can access my other email in the background, find that email, find that text, copy that text, bring up that other email message, and paste in that text. Whereas before, you kind of had to back out of that mail message, thus marking that message as a draft. So that's definitely a nice little feature that could come in handy. Spotlight now searches the App Store, which is something I've actually wanted in the past. So if I'm searching for a new game or some kind of app or whatever, and it's not already on my iPhone or iPad, it will now automatically search in the App Store, showing me the App Store results. I can tap that result, bada bing, bada boom, download, install, all that good stuff. It's easier than ever. Now this next one is very interesting. Just like answering phone calls on your Mac, you can now answer phone calls from your iPhone on your iPad. Now I don't know if I'll ever use this. Maybe I will if my phone's charging in another room. I don't know. But still, the feature is there and I'm sure some people out there will find it useful. QuickType. Now this is a new feature that's kind of like similar features on other platforms such as Android and Windows Phone, where the iPhone or iPad will automatically, or your iPod Touch, it basically auto-predicts what word you're trying to type. Now honestly, I've never been a fan of this. I'm not sure why. I prefer to just type my own because looking through a list of words, in my opinion, kind of slows me down. And it's the same exact thing on my PS4. I mean, I maybe have auto-completed a word maybe once or twice, but sometimes I just prefer to type it on my own. That's just me though, but again, more options, always a good thing, so pretty cool. You can now add and remove people from group messages. Thank God. I love my parents. I love my sister. Obviously, that's no secret. I'm a big family-oriented person. But sometimes when they include me in a group message and we start out talking like for a minute or two, but then it goes all day and my phone's going off and off and off. I'm like, no offense, guys, but I gotta back out of this message. And now with iOS 8, it makes it easy. So thank you, Apple, for implementing this. And to my family out there, love you guys. You can now send audio, photo, and video messages, kind of like temporary messages, directly within the Messages app. Think of it like Snapchat. So apparently if I send like a voice message or a photo or a video to you like right now within the app itself without having to record it beforehand, then it temporarily sends it to you. Then after you view it, I think it destroys it automatically locally on my device. And this could actually be pretty cool because there's sometimes those moments where I want to send a picture of something quick or a video or whatever, and I don't want it necessarily be stored on my iPhone or iPad. So this is definitely a nice addition, and bravo to Apple for listening to the community, if they even submitted that feature request to begin with. But either way, hey, it's there, and I'm fine with it. iCloud Drive. Not going to talk about this too much. It's basically like Dropbox file synchronization on your Mac, but now on your iOS device. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. There you are.
An excellent question.
She thought I said why. She's actually very good. Watch. Who's your daddy?
My daddy? I don't get it.
Siri, you get it. I'm her daddy. Alright, but seriously, from now on with iOS 8, when I say, hey Siri, my iPhone automatically wakes up, goes into Siri mode, and listens for my command. Just like Google now, and I love this. It's one of the very few features that I actually like about Android. I love that you can just say, okay Google, or okay Glass. Now it's the same exact thing on iOS. Hey Siri, what's today's weather? Which I actually say that fairly often. What is today's weather?
The weather's looking good today. Up to 81 degrees Fahrenheit.
81 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is awesome. That is really, really cool, and I'm just glad that Apple has finally implemented that. Siri is just getting better and better with each iOS update. This next feature is actually kind of a big one, and I've been wanting it for a little while now. Now, there's apps out there called Shazam and SoundHound, and they basically let you identify a song by recording it temporarily on your phone, iPad, whatever. So now, according to the keynote, iOS 8 will have this functionality built in, which is very nice because I hate having to launch just an app like Shazam or SoundHound to simply listen to a song. And the fact that it's now going to be built into iOS 8, that's just really cool. We now have widgets in Notification Center. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not too obsessed over widgets nowadays, and that's actually saying a lot because years ago, when I was actually interested in my Nexus 7, I loved the idea of widgets. But then a week went by and I wasn't using those widgets, so I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I don't need these widgets as much as I thought I needed them. Which is actually saying a lot because I use widgets all the time on my Mac, but I guess I don't use them all the time on my mobile device, such as my iPhone or Nexus 7, which I no longer use anyway, by the way, but that's easily my most hated video. But that's okay. It's all good. But still, it is cool that widgets are now built into Notification Center, and I guess it could come in quite handy for things like shipping packages, or tracking packages rather, or tracking things on eBay like they demonstrated in the keynote. So I guess it's one of those things I'll have to wait until I actually use to see if I enjoy it. But still, pretty cool regardless. Now this next feature in iOS 8, I think no one expected, and that's support for third-party keyboards. Third-party keyboards! Apple is actually letting us use third-party keyboards. That's a big deal. It's not only a big deal from a usability perspective, but it's also a big deal from the whole Apple closed ecosystem perspective. I mean, what is going on here? Apple is actually letting third parties get into their SDK and actually let us use their keyboards? I just didn't see this coming. I don't think anyone saw this coming, so Apple, bravo for opening up a bit. This is actually a huge deal. So it's definitely going to be quite exciting because I really appreciated using swipe on my Nexus 7 when I actually, like I said, owned my Nexus 7 years ago. So it's going to be nice having that kind of functionality and that freedom on my iPhone and iPad. Now with that said, I don't know if I'm going to permanently switch to a third-party keyboard because I'm actually very happy with Apple's keyboard. I mean, it's not perfect and it may not be as fast and feature-rich as something like swipe. But with that said, more options, right? Options are good. And I believe I've said that like 5 times in the past half hour making this video and the other video. But guys, it's the truth. It's just so odd for Apple to be opening up to more options. But it's also a very good thing. And now let's talk about Touch ID. It can now use third-party apps. This is a big deal. Now, I gotta be honest, I have Touch ID currently disabled on my phone because I'm just quicker at swiping. That's just how I am. But if I'm out in public with a bunch of people around me and I leave my phone around somewhere, I'm not sure why I will do that, but if I do by accident, like if I'm at a party or something similar, then yes, I would activate Touch ID. Because why not, right? Better safe than sorry. But I just don't have Touch ID turned on right now because I didn't find myself using it on a daily basis because I couldn't use it in other apps. Like PayPal. It would be really cool to sign into my PayPal account instead of having to put my password or PIN in every time. And then I could just do this. Bam, PayPal, done. And the same exact thing goes for anything else that requires a password. So that's definitely very cool, and it could become quite huge within the next 6 to 12 months. Now this next feature was briefly announced. I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest, because I was typing up notes and doing other things. And that's HomeKit. And from the name, I'm assuming Apple will eventually be talking to smart house devices, kind of like thermostats, smoke detectors, all that good stuff, which is already possible. But the fact that HomeKit is now built into the SDK, I think that says that Apple has big plans for eventually having their own smart house devices, or smart home. I always say smart house because of that old cheesy Disney movie. Anyone else see that? And then there's Health.app. Apple talked about something called HealthKit as well. I didn't really pay too much attention to this, but apparently it's going to be a big deal. I'm honestly not very involved in that whole health management kind of thing. I mean, my health is obviously important, but I don't go out of my way to put my calories in of a hoagie I eat at Wawa or a slice of pizza or track my steps or anything. Which I am actually interested in tracking my steps with something on my wrist. But with that said, it is cool that Apple is getting into the health market, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. And then there's family sharing. Apparently you can now share your purchases and movies and all that stuff with up to 6 people, 7 people, I forget. But it's pretty cool if you're looking to share music, apps, movies, videos, anything like that. And now with the Photos app on your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch, you can apparently sync them easier than ever via the favorites category, such as if I favorite a photo in here, it'll instantly appear on my Mac, I think. It's not that interesting, but hey, it's there. And you get better photo editing tools, which is always good. I know it's not that exciting, but I actually do enhance my photos on a regular basis on my iPhone, and it works quite well. So more control is pretty good. So that is iOS 8 from a user's perspective, but from a developer's perspective, there is so much more to explore and discover and just experiment with. Because as of this keynote, Apple announced a brand new language called Swift. Okay, so I'm not exactly a developer, so I don't know how all that stuff works, but according to the reactions I've been seeing on Twitter, and especially the reactions of the people in the keynote's audience, this is a significant deal, and I was really happy to see that people were so pleased with this announcement. Again, I am not a developer, but I will say one thing. This is, without a doubt in my mind, a win-win scenario. Win for developers, because this is much cleaner code, much simpler code, I think, but more complexity involved, meaning more rich apps. And win for us, the consumers and prosumers, because we get better apps and hopefully more stable apps, especially if the code is a bit cleaner. I'm looking at you, Facebook. The Facebook app isn't terrible. It's gotten better over the years, but they still have a ways to go. Let me just say that. So guys, that's it. Those are my thoughts on iOS 8. I gotta be honest, I wasn't too blown away at first, but then eventually when they got to the developer section of the keynote and they finally unveiled the fact that we have third-party keyboards coming, Hey Siri support, meaning, again, your phone doesn't even have to be, lit to use Siri, and the same goes for your iPad and iPod Touch. That's a big deal, and I really can't wait to see what comes out of developers' hands and Apple's hands and all those good people. Okay, so the bad news, just like OS X Yosemite, we have to wait until the fall to use the final release of iOS 8. But I believe the developers can get their hands on iOS 8 as of today. So there you go. Go download it right now for completely free, at least in terms of the iOS 8 beta itself, but not the developer's license. I think that's $99 a year for those wondering. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's $99 a year. I just know that because I used to be a developer when I actually made an app years ago, but I haven't done that in a while. So guys, that's it. I've talked enough. This is my second video today. I definitely need a drink. I'm parched. I never say the word parched. It's just weird. But as always, your support is incredible. And don't forget, if you did like this video, please click that like button right below. I really do appreciate it. It goes a long way. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace. Alright, so let's talk about today's sponsor, and that is Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that allows you to design beautiful websites. It's perfect for bloggers, creatives, small businesses, and more. Squarespace has full support for galleries, Dropbox file synchronization, custom CSS override for those looking for more control, and so much more. Sign up now using the link below for your 14-day free trial. No credit card is required. And of course, thank you so much for supporting my channel, and enjoy.